Josh, honestly, I just want to know what happened tonight, man. What happened today?
Today I woke up and I decided I killed my mom today.
Okay.
That was me.
Okay. Why did you kill your mom?
On March 20th, 2017, in the quiet neighborhood of Riverview, Florida, something unthinkable happened. Stephen D'Angelo received a string of strange text messages from his wife, Tara, on her 39th birthday. Then silence. Worried, Tara's father drove to her home and uncovered a nightmare. Tara was dead, her body wrapped in a blanket and drenched in blood. Her car gone, and the one person missing, her 18-year-old son, Joshua Carmona. Just hours later, police found him speeding down Hillsborough Avenue. What he confessed that night would haunt everyone in the room. I woke up, and I killed her. Why would a son murder his own mother on her birthday? What pushed him over the edge? And what exactly happened inside that house before the killing? This is the disturbing story of Joshua Carmona, a killer hiding behind the face of a troubled teen.
Sometimes I had this plan because I knew part of me hated them. Like, my mom, okay. It's me, my mom, and my stepdad, and my little sister in the house. And I don't know if I'm ready to do this right now.
Well, when did this all start for you? It sounds like there's been some things that you've been thinking about for a while. It doesn't seem like just a, one moment it all happened, right?
Like, I recently got out of prison in jail, for DUI. And I was getting ready for a court date in April in Pennsylvania. And instead of getting ready for that, I was just thinking maybe I should quit, maybe I should give up and just try and run away, get high, and just, the plan was to just go die. And just avoid that.
I just want to stop. You had said that you weren't ready. Do you want to continue talking to us?
I am.
Okay.
The plan was to go do something like that, where I'm just really high. And what I did was I went after my mom to get the car.
Okay.
And she's...
Were you planning on harming yourself? Yeah.
But the main thing was that I was thinking about that led me to do this was I was blaming my mom for not being there. And I think I just held it in. I hated her for that. And we were just not talking about it because of me. Because I was just going out late, not being sober, ruining that. And I think it kind of worked together. I was gone from the house more, just getting high. They noticed I wasn't there and we just stopped talking. I've been thinking about this for a while.
When you say thinking about this, what do you mean by that?
That's a good question. I've been thinking about harming my parents.
So not just your mom, your stepdad too?
That was what I was originally gonna do today.
Okay.
Well, what is that? Let's start from the beginning, man. How did you do it to your mom? What did you do?
When she came home, I snuck up on her and I used a bat.
What did you do with the bat?
I did what you saw.
So
what? Obviously, this was something that We haven't really been in the house
decided to
too
ruin
much, so
everything.
just, you know, can you take me through how you did it?
I don't want to talk about that part.
Okay, that's fine. That's what, if you don't want to talk about that, that's fine.
That was the worst.
That was what?
That was the worst thing I did.
Okay.
I made a lot of mistakes, but that part wasn't really. It didn't add up, and it was. I did something so bad. I just don't
Okay.
want to
Let
say
me,
it.
can I ask you this?
I killed her.
I know. Okay. But what I would like to know is, where's the bag?
It was in the house.
It's in the house?
Mhm.
Okay.
I left everything in the house.
Okay. What other, did you use anything else?
Like I was cleaning up the carpet.
Uh-huh.
I didn't use it. Well, there was a knife too,
Okay.
but I didn't really use it.
Okay. How'd she get the injury on her neck?
From the knife.
The knife? Okay. Josh, there obviously there's some things that, and you feel you talk to me about, I'd like you to talk to me about whatever you feel comfortable with, okay? I'm not gonna force you to talk to me.
You want to know what happened?
Yeah, but I'd like to be able to explain it somehow to whoever's surviving here, okay?
That's the thing.
Well, let me ask you this, Josh, how do you feel now that all this is over with? How do you feel now?
Like, about me? Or
Yeah.
about,
Did it, you had said that you've been planning this a while.
I feel like I completely ruined Caitlin's life.
Okay. Well, you know, Caitlin's young, okay?
But she's gonna, I feel like I did to Caitlin what happened to me and what I was blaming my mom about. I did that to her.
Josh, tell us about that, because we want to understand for you what's going on. You know, we want to understand, obviously there's been some tough things that have happened in your life that have led up to this, right? It's not something that you just decided this morning was going to happen.
Mhm.
And you talk about holding some things against your mom that happened to you earlier in life, okay? We're detectives, right? So we detect things, we go out, we gather information, and we've gathered a lot of information today because we were worried about you. We wanted to find you and see if you were okay. All right? In gathering information, we understand that you didn't have the easiest life growing up. It sounds like you didn't have a dad that was around much, and you had a mom that had an opportunity to be around and chose not to be around.
Huh.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we want to understand where this started at for you. So when you talk about holding things against your mom, is that part of it? Or are we going back to the fact that she went off and was living her own life?
It was, like, that was the justification for it. That's what I was, that's
Okay.
what made me think. She told me,
It's okay. Now's the time for you to talk to us.
when I was a kid and she would visit, all I think about now is when I was a kid and she would visit for like a day or two and then she would leave, and I just remember me crying myself to sleep because I was really sad.
What were you sad about?
Because my mom came and I was happy for a little bit, but then she was gone again.
Who were you living with then?
Just my grandma.
So here you had a mom and she would come visit and you would get a taste of having your mom around and then she would leave.
Mhm.
Okay.
And she told me a few months back that, and I knew she wasn't there because she was scared to be a mom. And I was holding against her that she was scared to be a mom then. And now, because of our bad relationship, I was still holding that against her too.
What do you mean by your bad relationship?
We didn't talk at all. And when I turned to drugs, we started talking about nothing, never seeing each other.
You know, you said that your plan was to kill your mom and your stepdad. But you only killed your mom because your stepdad's still alive. So how did that happen? Did something interrupt that, or? Did you have a second thought? Like, how did that plan get messed up?
When my grandpa came home
When he came home to his house?
to my house
Okay.
and he went inside,
So was he not supposed to come to the house?
I just wanted to give him Caitlin and then
Okay.
go back to my house.
So how
Were
were
you
you
gonna
gonna,
wait for your stepdad to come home?
so how did that happen where were you gonna meet up with him to give him Caitlin?
I was just gonna drop him off I was gonna drop Caitlin off at my grandpa's house.
Okay.
He
So-
came straight to our house.
What, how did you make arrangements to do that, to drop
I used
Caitlin?
my phone and my mom's phone.
Okay, so you were using your mom's phone also? Were you using it as you, or using it as her, or something else?
As her,
Okay, so you made arrangements to meet him to drop off Caitlin where?
at his house.
Okay,
Where is her phone now?
I dumped him
Where?
at Brandon Mall,
Brandon Mall?
Mhm.
Whereabouts?
next to Sears,
Inside or outside?
outside,
Outside?
on, I know which one it was. It was in the grass areas.
In the grass area?
like up by the
Like-
building or over by the
In
road?
the
or what?
parking lot, outside of Sears,
Okay,
next to the cars.
you willing to do that later?
Mhm.
All right,
Okay.
so then you're using your phone, your mom's phone, and you're texting your grandpa? What's his name?
Bob.
Bob, okay. Bob,
Yes,
all right, and you make arrangements to meet him, you think at his house to drop off Caitlin, is that right? Okay, make sure you correct us if we're not right, because we want to make sure it's right, all right? So then you said something about, but then he comes to your house instead?
yeah.
So how did that happen?
I wasn't, well, I don't think, he was questioning why I asked him.
Where were you when he showed up to the house?
I was at the park.
At the park?
Mhm.
Who were you with?
With Josh,
With Josh?
with one of my friends.
Okay,
He's who I left Caitlin with.
okay.
Okay.
Josh is a good friend, like I said, like I told you right from the beginning, Caitlin's okay.
Mhm.
He did exactly what you told him to do. He dropped her off.
Okay. Yeah, that wasn't part of the plan at all.
I get
That
it,
just
man.
happened.
I get it. And, you know, things do spiral out of control. We understand that. Okay?
So-
Keep going with what happened.
Where was it?
Well, so then you're texting Bob
Mhm.
from your phone and your mom's to arrange to meet him at his house to drop off Caitlin.
Mhm.
But you're at the park with Josh.
Yeah,
Okay, so then what happens next?
and I knew he came to my house because I could see it on my phone. The
Okay.
door was opened.
Oh, okay. Oh, you have cameras, like you can pull it up on the app?
We have a security thing on that, and I
Okay.
knew at that point it was over
Why is that?
because there was still some on the carpet.
Okay. So at that point, you had already killed your mom?
Mhm.
Okay, and so what time was it that you killed your mom today?
Around noon.
Around noon? All right, and
You
then,
said that she got back. Where was she that she left the
She
house?
went grocery shopping. No, I think she went to get.
She go get her nails done or anything like that, or?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
okay. Josh, it looks like there's a weight on your shoulders. Talking about this might lift that weight off your shoulders. It might.
I already admitted to it.
And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but like I said before, and it's up to you if you want to keep talking to us or not.
She comes in and I say, Mom, I hit before she came, I hit the staircase with the bat, so it was chipped. I said, Mom, I was standing in the kitchen with the bat, and she came around the counter to look at it, because I told her. And it just, I grabbed it and just hit her
Where'd you hit her?
in the head. And she fell down. But she wasn't out. And so I just kept hitting her until she stopped.
Okay.
Hit her in the neck so she couldn't breathe. Because her face swelled up. And so it was just muffled and screaming. And I was just trying to hit her until that stopped. And then I moved the body to the bathroom.
When'd you use the knife?
After she passed out.
Was that in the bathroom?
No,
In the kitchen?
no, it was right there. It was right after. To just let out blood.
Okay.
In case, because I don't want her to wake up.
Help me understand that. You said to let out blood so she wouldn't wake up?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Because she was just knocked out.
Okay, from the bat, she was just knocked out. So you don't think she was dead at that point?
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Were you trying to put her out of her misery? Yeah?
So where did you use the knife to let the blood out?
On the back of her neck.
Okay, can you kind of show me where? On her neck? Right in the back? Okay. Okay.
Can I ask you this before we go any further? Did you injure yourself at all during any of this? Did you cut yourself?
No.
Did you fall down or anything like that? Any bruising, anything like that we need to be aware of? Can I see your hands real quick?
Hands were the only thing.
Your hands are the only thing?
Yeah, because it's just
So
a
kind of like
wrist.
you're like calluses almost. Did you punch anything?
No, that was already there.
Those are, yeah, they look kind of old.
Were
The
you
only thing
saying your
was-
hands because of what? You were going to show us something?
I was hitting the, I broke a chair. I was hitting the staircase with the bat and just using the bat. I was talking about it hurt my wrist.
Okay, and you're kind of demonstrating like this. So are you right-handed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you were holding the bat this way, the way you're showing us? Okay. And was she facing you or facing away from you the first time that you hit her with the bat?
She turned to me.
She turned to you because she was coming in the room because you called her in to see something, right?
That's
Okay.
what. I just told her to look over there, and I just came behind her.
She turned to you before. Did she put her hands up or anything? Did she say anything after that? Did you say anything during it? What did you say?
I told her Caitlin would be okay,
Okay.
and she was trying to push me off, and I just told her, I said, just stop fighting, just like let go.
Was she fighting? What do you mean let go? Was she holding on to you?
She was trying to grab her throat
So she's fighting.
because she couldn't breathe, and she was trying to get away from me.
Was she on the ground at this point?
And I told her, I said, just let go. And she wouldn't. And so I got up and it smashed. I hit her again.
In that face?
Did you?
Last night, I just went to bed. What was going to happen was I had to go do my monthly parole for Georgia and go get an appointment with my doctor this week. And so I was deciding between quitting and doing this or doing everything I have to do
Okay.
and getting ready to
See-
go through probation, go to the hearing in April, and talk to my therapist.
Okay. So you feel like you're deciding between,
I tried to make it a choice between those two.
like, do I kill my mom and stepdad and try to run for the hills and get away from everything? Or do I follow through with what I need to do, go to court, face the consequences? Okay. So those you felt like are kind of your two choices.
Like I made it, in my mind I was like, today we're going to decide. Because I was pinning them against each other.
Mm.
And I was like, today we're going to decide what we do. And so I went to bed that night thinking about it, and I woke up.
Why is today the day you have to decide that?
Because I'm going to go to talk to my therapist tomorrow.
Okay.
I was.
So can we back up, if you don't mind? Let's back up. I just want to understand. So like Friday is St. Patty's Day, right? Do you go out and celebrate, drink with buddies, anything like that Friday?
I went and hung out with my girlfriend,
Which is who?
Emily.
Okay, so you and Emily hang out. Do you guys go drinking? Do you smoke weed together or spice? Okay. And then Saturday, do you do anything on Saturday? What do you do Saturday?
I didn't do anything.
Like you stay at home, or did you go out anywhere?
I saw my girlfriend, but I didn't do any drugs.
Okay, your girlfriend being Emily? Okay, and Saturday night, you guys aren't drinking, doing drugs, anything?
I didn't do anything.
Okay, and then what about Sunday? What do you do Sunday?
Nothing.
So again, you're not out drinking, partying, doing drugs, anything?
Drugs.
Okay, and then today's Monday. You said you woke up, you hadn't been drinking or doing drugs this morning. You don't, until after you kill your mom, you call your dealer to get some weed or spice or something, is that right? What were you gonna get from him or her?
I got bud.
You went and got bud, which is marijuana? Okay. I wanna ask you kind of a weird question. Do you ever hear voices that you feel like you're hearing that other people around you don't hear?
Yes.
You do? Have you ever talked to your therapist or anybody about that?
He knows it. He thinks it's from the weed. Like he said, when I started doing it, that's when I would be seeing
What is it? I don't
and
understand
hearing
that.
stuff other people don't.
When you smoke weed. Okay, is it only when you smoke weed though when you're high? Okay,
I wouldn't, even when I'm high, I don't know.
what do you mean?
You don't know what?
Like I've seen things in public that I knew I shouldn't believe, but that makes me think there's a lot of things I've seen that I wasn't sure about.
What do you mean by that?
Like sometimes I'm hallucinating and I hear the radio say something or people in public say something that they shouldn't be able to know. And so I know when I'm on the drug, I hallucinate, but I don't know about how.
So how do you know that you're hallucinating? Because
Because-
typically someone that doesn't even realize they're hallucinating, right? So how are you aware of the fact that you're hallucinating?
Because there was like a small few that I confirmed, like,
So have you ever, like when this is happening, have you ever said, hey, did you hear that to somebody? Like,
all the time.
yeah?
And I've seen like water on my pants. I see it and I touch it and it's dry. That's what I would notice when I was drinking sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you're drinking, you see that when you're smoking marijuana? How about when you're smoking spice?
I don't.
Do you know the difference between marijuana and spice?
I don't.
No.
That's
Okay.
why I was opening it up.
Okay, so you're not sure if it's marijuana or spice that you're smoking? Okay.
Do you usually try to like smell it, test it, something like that, like to see? Because marijuana has a distinct odor to it, and spice has a distinct odor to it.
I just don't know.
So the hallucinations and such that you're talking about, it's when you're high or when you're drinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not sober.
On what?
When I'm not sober.
And when you're not sober, okay. When you are sober, then you don't recognize or you're not aware of that stuff. Like you don't
Yeah.
remember doing that when you're sober, right?
I get this, like sometimes I'll get the same things where I'm like thinking crazy stuff, contemplating,
When you're
Hurting.
sober?
but,
What was that other part?
or like hurting them. This has
Okay.
been going on throughout high school but I've never hallucinated.
Have you told anyone that you felt like hurting someone else or?
No, I just kept that in.
Alright.
Okay.
So I want to make sure we understand you right. You said since you were in high school, leading up all the way until now, at times when you're sober, you have thoughts about hurting someone or committing suicide. Well, you didn't say someone, you said hurting them. Speaking about your mom and your stepdad? Okay. Ever think about hurting Caitlin?
No.
So it's always been mom and stepdad? Okay, or hurting yourself?
You wouldn't hurt Caitlin, would you?
No,
Okay, good.
I was making sure.
Yeah.
That
It seems like you took steps today to make sure that she was going to be with someone that was going to take care of her.
And just to be clear, so, because I don't want someone to infer this later on or anything, you never took Caitlin back to the house, did you?
No.
Okay, good, because that's a good thing. You don't want to score that
I
kid.
remember that.
Okay.
I went to the house.
I do thank you for that and everything, because that is something that you never want her to see, obviously, and everything, you know. We do what we do, but we don't need to include someone who's innocent like that.
I went to the house and I just left her in the car
Okay. Well, so how long were you inside?
for like 5 minutes.
Was this after, because I know you picked her up from the daycare somewhere up between 1 and 1:15 or so?
Yeah, like 1:30.
1:30? Okay. And then you went back to your house?
And I went to go get stuff for her.
Okay.
So I could drop her off.
Okay. Okay, so you were only there for a little bit. Okay. So we kind of got off track there for a minute. I want to just go, after you left the park with Josh, where did you go?
I just started driving.
Okay, where'd you go?
I was trapped between, like, I was just driving in circles. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go north or to Miami, because I was having this conflict in my head between going somewhere or like giving into the guilt and turning myself in. And I decided I was going to turn myself in and just come back to Tampa.
How far did you make it?
I went to like Ocala.
Okay.
And I started going east, and then I came around and I just came back to Tampa.
What was the route you took?
I just wasn't sober, so I don't remember it, and I went in a lot of circles because of that.
So when was it that you dumped her phone at the Brandon Mall?
It was at around like 4 when I went to go see my dealer.
So it was early on in this, in the driving around.
Yeah.
Did you ever go into the mall? So you just drove around and you dumped it outside in the parking lot?
This was after I dropped off Caitlin.
Yeah.
I went straight there.
Yeah, no, and that's good. You didn't do this with Caitlin in the car.
Yeah, I just dropped her in the parking lot.
Okay. Where'd you meet your dealer at?
By Sears.
By Sears?
That's
so right in the area where you dumped the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. Did this guy, whoever it is that your dealer is, did he ever see you drop the phone?
They were there. They might have seen it.
Who's they?
It was him and his friend.
Do you know their
They were
names?
both in the car. I know Jed's name.
Jet?
That's my dealer. I know my dealer's name.
What's his name? Jet.
That's what we call him.
Okay. Is he white guy, black guy?
Black guy.
Black guy? Okay. I don't really care necessarily about your weed dealer, but did you tell him anything?
No.
Who did you tell about anything that happened today?
I didn't tell people what happened. Like I lied to them.
Okay.
I said I was going to prison in Pennsylvania.
Who did you tell that to?
Josh and Emily, because I was trying to say bye to them without saying anything.
Did you tell either of them that you had done something bad today, or you had killed somebody, or
I said that to Josh.
you said what to Josh?
I kind of admitted it to Josh.
Okay. When you say kind of admitted, what do you mean? Like, what did you tell him?
Like I told him I couldn't tell him anything, and he was like, "Stop playing, bro." Like he was kind of joking with me, and I said it joking with him.
So what did
you say?
Yeah.
I said it. I was like, I killed someone, and I gave him.
Was that the exact words that you said? I killed somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I was trying to. That was really bad.
Well, hey, you know what? I mean,
I was trying to tell a joke. I told the worst, most joke because I knew he would believe me. And then I left him with Caitlin, and I just drove off.
when you say you told him a joke, what do you mean by that?
He was like, "Bro, stop. It's not like you did anything." I was like, "I killed someone." Because of how I am, I knew, like, that's how I tell jokes. Just say something really seriously. And it was because I knew he wouldn't believe me. And then this happened, and he had to come back
He had to come back where?
to I told him to go to my house, or my grandparents' house, to drop off Caitlin. What happened?
No, I mean, I spoke to Josh, okay? He's a nice guy, and he was a good friend to you.
What did he do with Caitlin?
He brought her right to your grandfather. I told you from the beginning, I wouldn't lie to you about that, okay? Because I know that's important to you. Caitlin, her safety. Okay, and I saw her with my own two eyes, so I can tell you that she's okay. Josh, before we kind of wrap this up, I just want to leave it kind of in your court. Are you sorry?
Yes.
Do you have anything you want me to tell anybody, any family, anything like that? I'll do that
To
for you.
Steve.
What do you want me to tell him?
I don't know if he wants to hear it, but I don't think there's anything.
You don't think there's anything? Okay.
I completely wrote. Like, do you think you'd want to hear from me?
You might.
Josh, here's the thing, we don't want you to manufacture any feelings here.
Yeah.
We don't want you to manufacture an apology or feelings of guilt, remorse, okay? What did I tell you? Part of our job is that we have to read people, right?
If you're not
So-
going to say something to him, that's fine.
I get
Yeah.
what you want to know.
Well, because, sometimes people feel bad for what they've done, and sometimes they feel bad because they got caught. And it sounds like you had a plan that you didn't get to see all the way through today. It kind of got screwed up on you, And I can understand that might be pissing you off too. Like you finally built up
I'm
the
not
courage.
pissed off.
So how are you
I
feeling about
ruined
it?
their family. I did. I did what I thought ruined my life to Caitlin's life. I put her in the same situation that I was in.
Well, you don't know that for sure.
Is she okay?
Josh, yes, I told you, she's fine. Okay? She's fine.
I guess I'm not and not to be a jerk here, but I guess I'm not totally understanding how you put her in the same situation you were in. Were one of your parents murdered by one of your siblings when you were growing up?
I made it even worse. I thought I made it even worse. I was in the car with Caitlin after I picked her up in the merry-go-round, and she was crying because she wet her pants, and she was just this cute little kid crying, "Mommy." And all I remember was when that happened to me. But I did it, so I tried to put her, I ended up almost putting her.
Well, and you said you tried to put her. So you must be, it must be really frustrating to see a young kid, right, being raised by your mom and your stepdad in a way that your mom didn't give you the attention when you were that age.
Yeah, it's like, I thought about that.
That has to be really upsetting. You see your
Before I
mom
saw her.
pouring into this little girl in a way that she didn't bother to pour into you.
Yeah.
And so part of this was,
I was jealous. Of
so let's be real and let's really talk about what got us here today, right? Because that's got to be really tough to watch, right? You wanted your mom around in your life, you wanted a dad around in your life, and here she gets to have both. That's not fair.
It's not fair, but I know. I just made excuses, and I tried to blame what happened to me for how I was living. I was making myself and feel like this, and I tried to blame what would happen.
Who are you blaming?
I tried to pin it all on my mom and my parents, and my grandma, just for where I was raised.
But Josh, it sounds like they took care of you. I mean, they did. It's by your own admission they did. So why all this hatred? Why all this? Why all this?
I don't know.
You want this to happen?
I wanted to run away, but as soon as I did it, I realized what I was doing had nothing to do with that. And I was just doing a horrible thing, pointlessly.
You made a statement to one of your friends today that I'm curious about. You said your life is like a movie. Something to that effect. Talking stupid?
I was just doing things that, for no reason.
Did you want people to notice you?
There was a lot of attention.
You wanted attention?
There was a lot of going for attention, doing things I didn't need to do for attention.
Well, this is like one of those ultimate things. A lot of people are going to be paying attention to you.
What
They
kind
will. People are going to be paying attention to you now.
I know.
what kind of attention did you think was gonna come out of this?
This wasn't about attention.
Well, but you just said it was. Right? I mean, if we're being honest here, you just said it was.
So, I mean,
The benefit I thought that would come out of this was just a release from what I did to my life. Besides all the problems, like the legal issues,
sure.
I made myself feel like shit for no reason. And so I wanted to release from all the hard things I had to do and how pointlessly hard I made my life. So I just wanted.
So where are we at now then with this? Do you feel a release?
No. I feel like I tried to do was get attention from my family. And I made so many mistakes that they forgave me for. And now I made the one they can't.
Now you what?
I made the one mistake they can't forgive me for.
Well, those are some good-hearted people, man, and they may find some type of forgiveness for you. I don't know for sure if they will, but maybe somewhere down the road they might.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Josh, is there anything that we didn't ask you today that you think is necessary for us to ask you? Now's your time to shine, man.
I felt guilty about it when I saw Caitlin.
Prior to seeing Caitlin, did you feel guilty?
When I saw my mom.
After it all said and done?
What the hell is wrong?
Alright.
That after it's all done, I threw everything away, and it doesn't make a damn bit of sense. I tried to end something that had nothing to do with me. And I tried to end my life because I still couldn't get over what happened to me as a kid. And I was still blaming and hating the world
I understand.
for something that probably made me a better person.
Why would this make you a better person?
I had a great childhood. I was a great kid.
Well, maybe I misunderstood what you said, but you just said this would make
I
you
didn't
a
say
better-
this made me a great person.
Okay,
I said I was a great person.
Okay.
And I was trying to make an excuse and act like I was broken.
Okay.
I screwed something up. I made the wrong choice.
Okay. Well, Josh, we're gonna go ahead and make a phone call, okay? If you don't mind taking us to where those phones were, we'll do that in a little bit. We're gonna move you to a room over here, okay? And I'll be with you in a minute. I just gotta call one of our prosecutors, but.
Can I talk to Steve?
We're not gonna call him
Not right
tonight.
now, we're not gonna do that.
Can I
but-
say, is there something you want me to say to him?
Is there something you want to say to him?
There's something I want to say to my mom. I'm so glad she's okay.
So, who's okay?
My mom.
The mom?
What do you mean by that?
Because I was worried that Steve was going to have to live with that. Caitlin was going to have to live with that. And now their family doesn't have to live with that.
What do you mean live with that?
Like not having a mom. Like her just being taken away because of me, someone that was in their house. Someone they loved. Took someone they loved. I was afraid they were gonna have that scar because of me.
Well, you know that is something they're living with now.
Josh, that's something that you may want to think about, okay? I don't know necessarily if you want me to relay that message to them.
Is my mom okay?
Let's go next door, man. Come with us.